we have the pleasure of being joined by one of our favorite guests here at Montel Across America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. He's a congressman from the 14th District in Texas. Welcome, Congressman Ron Paul, to Montel Across America.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here today, sir, the day before Turkey Day. And I'm going to ask you a little later on what you're going to be doing tomorrow, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some things that are happening in the headlines. The president last night went ahead and made his statement about when he will finally make a decision about Afghanistan, and he said this.
After 8 years, some of those years in which we did not have, I think, either the resources or the strategy to get the job done, it is my intention to finish the job.
And him making that statement means that he's, the rumor mill is saying that he's anticipating sending in about an additional 34,000 troops, which will require an additional 15 to 20,000 support personnel that will go in with him. And as we've taken a look back at, this war in Afghanistan, there was an argument about how many troops actually are there. We think that the current number of troops in Afghanistan are 68,000. Earlier I said it was closer to 100,000, about 68,000 troops that are on the ground there. The president making this statement that he's going to go ahead and make the decision to send in more troops. He's going to ask NATO to send in more troops. I just wondered what you think about this and what you think the pushback is going to be from the American public, because 66 to 68% of the American public is had enough of this war and are disappointed in the way the war is going. And I have a feeling those numbers are going to go up now, knowing that more of our sons and daughters are going to go off to die. What do you think, sir, about this decision?
Well, I think it's a serious mistake. I think the American people are going to get more upset. We can't provide, policies and take care of people here at homes, but we're over there spending all this money, and it's a lot of money. I mean, this could be huge if you send 35 or 40,000 more men over there. It could go into the billions of dollars. But I think the biggest shortcoming in his statement is he wants to get the job done. I don't know what the job is. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what it is. But that's the real problem. Nobody knows exactly what the job is. If we're threatened by a country and our national security is at stake, you have no difficulty in describing the job, and you don't debate whether you have 35,000 or 40,000 or how much it's going to cost you. You work hard to preserve the national security. But since this has nothing to do with national security, and we talk about a job, I think it's way too vague. I'm really disappointed because this is the one area where I had hoped that he would help us, and he sort of, I think it helped him a lot in the campaign to take the position that he wanted to wind wars down. But not only do we have to worry about Afghanistan, but I'm really concerned about how many times we send these drones over into Pakistan, and people over there aren't very happy with us. And I think we're digging a much deeper hole for ourselves.
And, Congressman, I got to ask you, how are we going to get somebody down there in Washington, D.C. to start asking some of these tough questions? You just talked about the drones that are going into Pakistan, and then we find out yesterday that there has been a so classified, I bet you don't even have the clearances to know some information about the private subcontracted run hit squads, drone operations that are going on right now, and the money that's being spent. I take a look at some of the figures that just came out about the amount that the Defense Department has spent on the war from 2000 to 2009. It's $5.6 trillion, but they don't even include the numbers that we're paying to these subcontractors.
How many people could get health care with about 1/10 of that? This is just money down a rat hole, and the military-industrial complex loves it, and they make these plans. I just have difficulty understanding the obsession with this, the inability to reassess and say, we've made a mistake, let's change policy, let's just come home and offer friendship, offer peace, offer trade with them. Sure, it's a very imperfect country over there, and it's a very imperfect country here, but we still do our very best. But I just think the more troops we send over there and the more people that die, the greater danger that we're in, both financially and more people hating our guts. I mean, how would we react if some of the treatment that we place on those other countries, if somebody did that to us? We would be outraged. We'd be unified, too. There would be no dissent in this country. We'd all be unified. That's why the dissenters, whether it's in Iran or Afghanistan or any place who want true reform, we totally neutralize them. So I see this, the policy that we follow doing exactly opposite of what they're pretending to do.
And also, sir, will there be and should there be and can we call for some sort of congressional investigation into the amount of money that's being lobbied with and paid into some of, your peers' campaign war chest to lobby for more war fighting? I mean, we did a little look a couple of weeks ago at some of the people and some of the egregious offenders who received $700,000, $400,000, $200,000 from military subcontractors to continue to vote and lobby to send more troops in and continue this war. In some ways, are some of your peers literally talking out of both sides of their mouth? They're saying that they want to bring the war to an end, yet they have people lobbying them and trying to press for more troops.
Well, yes, it should be investigated. Cunningham was caught at it. He's in jail, but that's a rarity. I think the system breeds that. A lot of it is so-called legal and ethical because it's part of the system. You can lobby, you can put money in, and who knows when it's quid pro quo and how much of it is cash. So it's the system, but I also see the system breeding this because government has so much to offer. If we weren't fighting all these wars, think how small the military-industrial complex would be. But they drive our foreign policy. And then you can see where the pressure comes to keep building. We have right now, not too far from my district, where they're building some military trucks, and everybody in Texas, we got to save it. We got to save its jobs. But I can't do that. We don't even need these trucks. I'm afraid that if we have those kind of trucks, we'll just get further involved in driving all over Pakistan and all over Afghanistan. But the driving force is this military-industrial complex with a tremendous amount of pressure. So when it comes to an issue like that, conservatives are big spenders. And then on other things, the liberals are big spenders, and that's why we have this huge runaway deficit. And the trouble we have with our dollar, it is not sustainable. That's all that's what I've concluded.